on the front of the Telegraph and a huge page inside. Lineker should get on with footy and forget politics, declares Des Lynam. Now, Des Lynam was the Gary Lineker of his day, presented Match of the Day back in 1988 to 99, I think it was. And he's giving an interview saying, you know, Gary Lineker could really just concentrate on the day job and forget all the politics. As we know, you know, Lineker somewhat hypocritically went out to the World Cup in Qatar and said, oh, the human rights issues out here are appalling, but here's me earning loads of money. The BBC paying £1.3 million a year for his job. And he's also very, very vocal on all sorts of politics. He supports Just Stop Oil, which is fine, absolutely his right. And also he has spoken out on politics, and he was the one that accused the Tory party of sounding at one point like the Nazi party, didn't he, with the language that was being used around the immigration situation. So, I mean, to be fair to Des Lynam, he is speaking out, that's his opinion, and Gary Lineker, to be fair to Gary Lineker, has said, look, we're all entitled to our opinions, that's his, I'm entitled to mine. Yeah, but seeing as he works for the BBC, and they are meant to be impartial, I'm not so sure.
Well, if you're a sports presenter, you're allowed to have political views. Yeah, isn't that the decision?
That's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, I think we've got to be very careful, though, with this Des Lynam thing, because actually I think Des Lynam's been interviewed about a variety of other things and then got asked about the Gary Lineker and then made an opinion. Well, he's going to say something. So this picks
and he was very complimentary about Gary.
Yeah,
he liked him as a broadcaster. Yeah.
Exactly. So we've got to be very careful. We're not pitting these two great broadcasters against each other.
They're not, I mean, Des is the doyen. Des is the pope of broadcasting. He is the one, if you were any good, you wanted to be like, because he was.
Well, it's not. But he was also he knew his subject, but he was also very, very smooth, wasn't he? Very smooth, and very laid back. I mean, I remember Des like you will remember Des doing his thing, and. Very, very encouraging, very insightful, very warm, humorous.
See, Gary Lineker actually changed the way sports presentation happened after that, because prior to that, they were anchors, there were hosts like David Coleman, Frank Boff, Dickie Davis, Des Lynam. After Des, it was sports hosts that anchored all the programmes. You have to have competed in sport at some level or been involved in sport.
What do you think about that, then?
I don't think it's a good idea, and I just said, particularly on football, I think it's very good to have someone who has an interest, so say someone like myself or yourself, who would be interested in the game and be asked somewhat naive or silly questions at some stage, but have the passion of a fan. You don't always have to be an expert to present certain stuff.
So Stevie Cram, he does athletics. But Steve Cram went to journalism school. So after his career, he went and studied 3 years journalism. So I think he's the exception, and I like the idea that you're professional in your job, like you two guys are professional in your job. And maybe there is something about what you're saying. Just because you're a great sportsman, why are you anchoring?
And I think the problem is, as a football fan, it can get too technical. I like being able to ask the fans questions about what the people watching at home are thinking, rather than getting too technical about this particular offside pass and, you know.
I mean, I think Gary Lineker is a very, very good presenter, but the landscape did change when he became... I used to host snooker for the BBC at that stage, and I was being replaced. They wanted to replace me with Gary Lineker.
Snooker?
Yeah, snooker, right, and pot black and things. And I was lucky that the snooker players, like as a union, got together and said, no, we like Eamonn. Actually, this is a tremendous tribute to me, that they said, no, we want Eamonn to stay, and they had that power that meant that I stayed on hosting snooker, which was a great compliment. But Gary's top man. But Lynam, see, no one will ever get me to criticise Des. You know, he is... If Des speaks, you obey.
He's entitled to his opinion, absolutely, and he's speaking out.